Augustus Caesar, the man Rome never saw coming. Rome was not built for mercy. It was built for power. And power in Rome was always taken, never given. Before Augustus Caesar became the most powerful man on earth, before temples bore his name, before Rome bowed to a single ruler, he was a boy no one feared, a boy no one respected, a boy most people planned to eliminate. Because in Rome, being underestimated was often more dangerous than being hated. Julius Caesar was dead. His blood still stained the marble floor of the Senate. The city trembled. The Republic gasped for breath. And in that chaos, Rome searched for enemies. But it ignored the boy. A thin, sickly teenager, barely 18, with no army, no reputation, and no political power. His name was Gaius Octavius, and Rome would regret forgetting it. The conspirators believed the tyrant was gone. Freedom, they said, had been restored. The Republic, they claimed, had been saved. They were wrong, because Julius Caesar had already chosen his revenge, not through legions, not through violence, but through inheritance. When Caesar's will was opened, Rome froze. The boy, that quiet, unremarkable relative, had been adopted as Caesar's son. And with that single document, Gaius Octavius became Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus. He inherited Caesar's name, Caesar's fortune, and most dangerously, Caesar's enemies. Rome laughed. The Senate mocked him. Veteran generals dismissed him. Powerful men spoke openly of controlling him. They saw a child. They did not see a weapon. Octavian arrived in Rome not with an army, but with patience. He listened more than he spoke. He watched more than he acted. While Rome bled itself in power struggles, Octavian studied every weakness. Because he understood one truth. Rome did not need another dictator. It needed the illusion of freedom. Mark Antony thought he owned Caesar's legacy. He had the loyalty of soldiers, the charisma of a leader, the confidence of a man who believed history favored him. Octavian never challenged Antony directly. He did something far more dangerous. He let Antony destroy himself. Antony insulted the Senate. Octavian defended it. Antony threatened Rome with force. Octavian spoke of law. Antony demanded loyalty. Octavian offered stability. And slowly, the Senate began to listen to the boy. But power in Rome was never decided by words alone. It was decided by legions. So Octavian did what no one expected. He raised an army, not with fear, not with conquest, but with Caesar's name. Veterans remembered the man who had fed them, paid them, led them to glory, and they followed his heir. Rome panicked. The Senate tried to control Octavian. Antony tried to crush him. Both failed. Because Octavian was not fighting for power, he was positioning himself to survive. Then came the alliance that terrified the Republic. Octavian, Antony, Lepidus. Enemies turned partners. The Second Triumvirate. Rome was no longer ruled by law. It was ruled by vengeance. The proscriptions began. Names were written, fortunes seized, lives erased. Friends betrayed friends, sons betrayed fathers, and among the dead, Cicero. The voice of the Republic was silenced forever. Rome learned a brutal lesson. Peace was no longer possible. The assassins of Caesar fled east. Brutus, Cassius, men who believed they had saved Rome. They would soon learn Rome did not want saving. It wanted control. The battlefield of Philippi was soaked in blood. Legions crashed. Shields shattered, the Republic died screaming. Brutus fell on his sword, Cassius followed, and with them, the last defenders of the old Rome vanished. But victory did not bring unity, it brought ambition. Antony ruled the east, Octavian ruled the west, and Rome stood between them, waiting to burn. Octavian returned as a hero, but heroes in Rome never lived long. The people demanded land, the veterans demanded reward, the Senate demanded obedience. Octavian gave them something else: hope. He spoke of peace, of tradition, of restoring the Republic, while quietly dismantling it. Antony drifted east, toward wealth, toward power, toward Cleopatra. Rome whispered, a Roman general enslaved by an Eastern queen. Octavian listened carefully, and then he struck, not with swords, but with stories. He turned Antony into a traitor, Cleopatra into an enemy, and himself into Rome's last defender. By the time Antony realized the truth, it was already too late, because Rome had chosen, and it had chosen the boy it once ignored. The war for the world. Rome had survived kings, it had survived tyrants, it had survived civil wars, but it had never faced this. Two men, two visions, one world, and only one could remain. Mark Antony did not believe Octavian was a threat. He had legions hardened by war, gold from the east, and beside him stood Cleopatra, queen of Egypt, ruler of unimaginable wealth. Together, they looked invincible. Octavian looked small, and Rome once again made the same mistake. Antony abandoned Rome without realizing it. He dressed like a king, lived like a god, spoke like the East. Octavian stayed in the West, wearing Roman tradition like armor. While Antony ruled through passion, Octavian ruled through perception, and in Rome, perception was everything. Octavian did not declare war on Antony. That would have divided Rome. Instead, he declared war on Cleopatra, a foreign queen, a symbol of Eastern decadence, a threat to Roman values. Antony was no longer a rival. He was a Roman who had betrayed Rome. The Senate hesitated. Octavian gave them proof. Antony's will, read aloud in public. It spoke of children with Cleopatra, of lands promised to Egypt, of burial far from Rome. The crowd erupted. The decision was made. War was inevitable. Antony gathered his fleet in Greece. Cleopatra stood beside him, not behind him. That single choice changed everything. Roman soldiers whispered. Roman commanders doubted. This was no longer Rome's war. It was hers. Octavian marched east, not as a conqueror, but as a savior. Every step was calculated, every word measured. He let Antony bleed support slowly. The fate of the world waited at sea. Actium, a narrow strait, a deadly trap. Antony had numbers, Octavian had strategy, and one man who would decide everything: Marcus Agrippa. The battle began at dawn. Ships collided, fire rained from the sky, men drowned screaming beneath burning wreckage. For hours neither side broke. Then Cleopatra fled. Her fleet turned south, and Antony followed. The moment shattered him. His men watched their commander abandon the fight. Morale collapsed, discipline vanished. Octavian did not chase. He let the enemy destroy itself. Actium was not a victory. It was an execution. Antony fled to Egypt. Octavian followed, slowly, relentlessly, like fate. Alexandria waited in silence. Antony tried to fight. His soldiers surrendered instead. His power was gone. his legend broken. Believing Cleopatra dead, Antony fell on his sword. He did not die immediately. He was carried to her, bleeding, broken, a Roman general dying in a queen's arms. Cleopatra tried to bargain. Octavian refused. She understood. There would be no throne, no mercy, no escape. She chose death over captivity. The asp ended Egypt's last dynasty, and with her, the last true rival to Rome vanished. Octavian stood alone. The world lay at his feet. Rome expected another dictator, another Caesar, another bloodbath. Instead, Octavian did the unthinkable. He returned to Rome and gave up his power. The Senate was